Right now on 7 News at 4, with one of the lowest labor force participation rates in the country, South Carolina lawmakers are looking for solutions.
Now a new bill is advancing aimed at helping South Carolinians find work.
And we're rolling back the clocks this weekend for daylight saving time, but that hour of lost sleep can affect your health. Plus,
the Clemson Tigers get ready to open up ACC tourney play here in Greensboro. Do they need a win to get off the NCAA bubble? We've got some thoughts just ahead.
Look forward to seeing you, Pete. But first, we want to talk about the rain that's on the way.
Sky is already changing out there. I see the clouds rolling in. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson.
All right, Taylor and Amy. Yeah, we've got some light rain right around the downtown Greenville area. It's not much, but a few more showers will be on the way during the evening hours, overnight, and into the first part of Friday. And the coverage is going to stay very widely scattered for now. A lot of this trying to actually dry up. Remember, we've been talking about that high fire danger with the really dry air. Well, it's a process for the atmosphere to moisten up enough for those raindrops to reach the ground. But they are in parts of Greenville County, Abbeville County, back into Pickens County, and even up into Jackson County. A lot of folks, though, still looking at drier conditions. Temperatures overall pretty mild, low to mid 60s in the upstate, right around 60 degrees in western North Carolina. By 9 o'clock, still a few hit or miss showers, 50s in the morning, 40s and 50s with a better chance of a little rain on the way. So we'll talk more about how much rain we'll get with this system, and then going through the weekend, yet another round of rain is on the way. Amy?
Christy, thank you. And developing right now, state lawmakers have advanced legislation that they say would help more South Carolinians find work.
The bill passed in the House this week. It's now on the way to the Senate. Our Jason Raven has more from Columbia.
Leadership here at the State House say by making these changes to workforce development in South Carolina, they hope to address some of the challenges workers and employers are currently facing. The statewide Education and Workforce Development Act passed in the House this week with an overwhelming majority. The bipartisan legislation is backed by House Speaker Merrill Smith and others, and the bill would establish the Office of Statewide Workforce Development at the State Department of Employment and Workforce. Now, supporters say it would streamline the state's workforce development efforts. The bill would also bring together business, education, and government leaders to come up with a statewide plan to help continue economic growth in South Carolina.
We'll know what's working, we can have measurable goals and assessments, and we'll know what return on investment we're getting. We'll be able to discontinue any duplicative efforts in workforce and maximize the opportunities and potential that we have.
The bill is now headed to the Senate, where it has the backing of Senate Labor, Commerce, and Industry Committee Chairman Senator Tom Davis of Beaufort County. In Columbia, Jason Raven, 7 News.
South Carolina currently has the 4th lowest labor force participation rate in the country. In North Carolina, a bipartisan group of lawmakers filed several bills today. As employers struggle to find workers, some potential workers say it's hard to find child care. Lawmakers say the top priority is to continue funding a program the federal government paid for during the pandemic. They say to maintain that, it would take about $300 million in state money. Lawmakers say they want to start a pilot program where businesses, the states, and families would share the cost of child care.
Now on 7, the ACC tournament is continuing in Greensboro. You can see 7 News Sports Director Pete Yanity joining us live. Clemson getting ready to hit the court tonight against NC State, right, Pete?
That's right, Emmy. Just outside of the Coliseum, where the Duke Blue Devils are in the process of finishing off the Pitt Panthers to advance out of one of the quarterfinals earlier today. It was a victory in the game that involved Wake Forest. In their contest, they ended up falling in a tight game to Miami, the #1 seed. Now, the Clemson Tigers tonight will try to advance to Friday night semifinal. Tiger team that has 23 wins coming into this tournament and kind of had an up and down February. But here in March, they're looking to try to continue a push toward at least getting an at-large bid to the NCAA tourney. And if you look at all the bracketology, well, you will see the Tigers are very much on the bubble. And in many cases, those who are considered experts have them on the outside looking into the field of 68. Brad Brownell and players were asked about that earlier in the week, and if they think tonight against NC State is a must-win to get to the big dance.
There's a blemish on everybody's resume, and there's usually something good on everybody's resume. We haven't had as many quad 1 opportunities as we would like as we get most years. Our 4 quad 1 wins right now, 3 of them are road wins, which I think is significant because it is very hard to win on the road against quality teams.
I think we have a good enough resume for sure. With the games we played, the margin of victories we've had, the consistency we've had over large periods of time. I've seen people say we're inconsistent this year. We had one bad week and a half. We've been pretty consistent over the past 3 months.
Now, the NC State team they play tonight has already won in this tournament. Last night they rolled to a 20-point win over Virginia Tech, 97-77, behind a 30-point effort from DeQuavian Smith. He and his teammates were hot. They shot better than 60% from the field and nearly 50% from three-point range. No doubt the Wolfpack, having lost already a couple of times to Clemson, will be anxious to see the Tigers yet again. Those teams met in a really close ACC tourney game in Charlotte a few years ago. Tigers with a win tonight would advance to the semifinals. That hasn't happened all that much in Clemson basketball history. They would get the winner of tonight's game between North Carolina and Virginia that tips off in a little bit. Brad Brownell has had some success in this building in his first season guiding Clemson back in 2010 and 11. He took the Tigers against North Carolina to a semifinal game here in Greensboro before Clemson lost that one in overtime. 7 News Sports is live here in Greensboro, getting ready for Clemson and NC State tonight in an ACC quarterfinal matchup. Taylor.
Very exciting, Pete. Thank you. Well, if you're looking for some family fun this weekend, 7 News has teamed up with Ingalls to buy out both Harley Park and Cyril Stadium. The USC Upstate baseball and softball games are free, and the games start Friday at 4 o'clock. A great way to kick off the weekend.
A new study has found that depression can increase the risk of having a stroke by 46%.
That's according to the journal Neurology. Researchers also found patients who had symptoms of depression had worse outcomes 1 month after the stroke than those without symptoms of depression.
And eating green leafy vegetables is associated with fewer signs of Alzheimer's disease in the brain. Researchers compared people who ate 7 or more servings a week to those who ate little or no greens and found that the veggie eaters had significantly less plaque in their brain, equivalent to being nearly 19 years younger.
Well, we spring forward an hour Sunday, and that jump can cause negative health effects.
That's right. You get a little bit tired on that Sunday change. Bradley Blackburn has more on how to adjust to this time change.
Daylight saving time begins Sunday, March 12th, which some sleep experts say can have a negative effect on health. To cope, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends getting at least 7 hours of sleep per night before and after the time change, adjusting bedtimes and wake times beginning a few nights before, shifting 15 to 20 minutes earlier each night, and setting clocks ahead 1 hour in the early evening on Saturday, and then going to bed at your normal bedtime that evening. Getting outside for early morning sunlight the week after the time change can also help your internal clock adjust. The AASM wants seasonal time changes to be eliminated and favors permanent standard time, citing growing evidence of increased medical errors, motor vehicle accidents, hospital admissions, and other problems. The spring time change can be especially tough for children. In one study, teens lost about 30 minutes of shut-eye a night. They had slower reaction times and attention problems after the time change. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The Senate passed the Sunshine Protection Act last year, which would implement permanent daylight saving time in the U.S.
It's Thursday, so let's eat. A cook left Greenville years ago to serve food to NFL teams and more, but now Big Dave is back. 7 News' Christine Scarpelli has a look from Greenville at Big Dave's All-American Barbecue.
Big Dave's All-American Barbecue started cooking out in the big state of Texas, Dallas actually, for some pretty big names. But will his big flavor hold up here in the city of Greenville? We'll see here at Big Dave's All-American Barbecue.
I'm in the city of my favorite teams. My brain just immediately, the electrodes just get out there, take them some of your food.
Okay, picture this. It's the late 1990s, and after consistent courtship, you're the caterer for the Dallas Cowboys. After growing up in Greenville, David Jones says he was living his dream until his mom got sick and he moved back home to cook for the ones he loves the most.
you're getting a flavor that you probably never had before. You might have had ribs, but you never had ribs like Big Dave's.
To be clear, it all started with the sauce.
You create a symphony of all these herbs and spices together. Now we're gonna add the liquid gold.
The Pineapple Bold Gold 97 and 93 sauces in honor of his son's football number are all unbeatable with Dave's smoked meat.
That's a pork spare rib, 97 sauce, the red sauce. We actually like to rub the seasoning in the Boston butt.
Next up, it's the MVP of Big Dave's, his Texas toaster.
We are going on with our toast. Build your cheese out. We call it the bed of cheese. That's the texture you want of your meat.
I love the sauce cooked in with the meat.
You get that bed of mac and cheese. You're gonna take your hat and you're going right on top.
Big Earl's loaded fries isn't far behind.
Put our little seasoning, and we're going topping with brisket, fresh chopped brisket. We go with Big Dave sauce, with cheeser. Now we're gonna sour cream it. We're gonna put our chives. Anything that you have here, it's gonna have the Big Dave signature flavor to it.
Get a load of this. Look at Big Dave's Texas barbecue holding its own here in South Carolina. We're in Greenville at Big Dave's All-American Barbecue, and just like the fam, right?
You know, my Uncle Earl used to say, "Let's eat!"
Looks delicious. Well, coming up next on 7 News, induction or gas stove. What's the right fit for your kitchen?